I was watching the first Indiana Jones film, and whilst I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I did as when I was a child, there was one scene in particular which caught my attention, which is when they map Indy's journey across the world. And as you can see, when they reach the Middle East, what's particularly interesting is that the land here bears its actual name, Palestine. But in many ways, this isn't really surprising, because whilst the film was made in 1981, it's set in the 1930s, so this is actually the name of the land, except it probably would have been known as Mandatory Palestine, because it was controlled by the British. Yet I still cannot escape how weird it is to see a map bearing the name Palestine, because over the last 100 or so years, the Zionist project and later Israel have done everything in their power not only to wipe Palestine and its name from the map, but also collective memory of it. They destroy Palestinian villages, 500 of them during the Nakba, they destroy heritage sites, and they just do everything in their power to deny Palestinians the right to their own state. And whilst I'm sure that people are going to be quick to tell me it's never been independent, it was always occupied by people, under the British, the concept of a mandate is vaguely interesting, because whilst it was just repackaged colonialism that was incredibly racist because it denigrated the subject of a mandate as being political children who were incapable of having their own state and needed it to be managed and created by the British, what you see is that there were Palestinians in that land who had national inspirations. For example, Musa Kazim, who was the mayor of Jerusalem at points, and he clearly stated throughout the 1920s that he had national aspirations for Palestine. And yet we're in a world today where, because of Zionism's claim that, oh, the land was just empty and we always had it, it always belonged to us, the history is completely obscured. Because in 1882, when immigration began, there were only 24,000 Jewish people living in historic Palestine, less than 10% of the population. It was only through mass immigration facilitated by a European colonial power that Israel was actually created and Palestine was wiped from the map. And the reason that this is so important to remember is that because whilst Jewish people do undeniably have links and history in the land of historic Palestine, the fact is that Palestinians were living there in built-up areas with their own history and culture only 100 years ago, and today they have basically been removed from nearly all of it, or where they remain, they are kept in horrific situations under an apartheid regime that has long denied them statehood.